It was a sunny, peaceful, beautiful weekend morning, the type where people take time to indulge in their passions and hobbies. And we did too, dragging our friends Steve-O and Kenneth and their not-so-stock standard toys out for the usual tea hut breakfast and easy drive. The question we're posing is, if you're in the market for a car in the region of about 50,000 ringgit, how do these older Continental cars stack up? Some people have a loving attraction to these popular 90s heroes, both of which have a colourful and successful racing pedigree. The Alfa Romeo 156 was first shown at the 1997 Frankfurt Motor Show, and sales started later that year. Available in a couple of engine formats, and one of the first cars to introduce a 7-speed sequential automated manual transmission. Up till it was replaced in 2005, 680,000 units of this car were produced, being a major success for Alfa. Most 156s in Malaysia were sold as a 2-litre 16-valve, with 155 horsepower and a 7-speed transmission. It would do 0-108 in a bit seconds. Handling is recognized to be perfectly balanced, and of course there's that lovely Alfa growl when pushed hard. 156s are noted to be the first true Alfas to emerge with proper build quality and reliable electrics, taking Alfa Romeo out of the dark ages. The BMW E36 model of the 3 Series is a lot older, first coming out in 1991 and selling right up to 1998. It was, as we now know, incredibly successful both in the dealer lots as well as the circuits. This 328i model featured a long-stroke 2.8-litre in BMW's familiar 6-inline configuration, instilling the car with 193 horsepower and a fat torque curve of 280 Newton meters, giving it 0-100 time of just over 7 seconds. That's decently quick. The Z-axle multi-link rear suspension was said to give slightly peculiar turning characteristics at racing speeds, but for the road it performed excellently and the car was good to drive. So, the 328i, compact car, big engine and rear-wheel drive. Hooah!
Since you say you take your cars for daily drive, you also go trekking, and you go for drives, whatever that means.
Just fun
drives.
Drives within the speed limit.
Within legal limits.
Yes.
Quote unquote. So what have you done to your car for these purposes?
Well, most important actually, I've done my brakes. I'm using a 166 calipers with your 4-port Brembos.
Alright.
With 330mm GTA discs.
Okay.
For on the fronts, the rear also is uprated to a GTA, which is the 3.2-litre version of the 156 disc, as well as brake calipers. The suspensions are H&R coilovers. So coilovers so that I can adjust the height. I did not want it to be too low, typical of the Alfa's design engine. The oil sumps are very low, so I like it higher, so it's more comfortable for daily drives.
Okay, but on track, do you reset your suspension or just leave it as it is?
I leave it as it is. It works just fine.
How about engine mods?
Well, I have cams in the engine, some intake mods, and pretty much that's it actually.
After all this, if you compare when you first had your car was standard, you had to track, then you had your brake modification, your suspension, would you say you're 5 seconds faster in Sepang?
I won't say 5 seconds faster,
10 seconds.
but it definitely feels much more fun to drive.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's not about ultimate lap times or speed, it's just being better to drive on the circuit.
Pushing your power band further up the rev.
You're saying your car's daily driven, you also take it to tracks. For the past 1.5 years, you've been taking it to Sepang. So what have you done to your modifications for your car?
Firstly is the upgraded brakes, the 4-port. It's actually from Porsche Boxster S, modded by Tedco.
Okay.
Engine-wise, I have cams and some intake, and of course I converted it to a manual.
Manual, okay.
Yeah.
So when you first had it 6 years ago, you ran it as a auto for a few years.
Yeah.
How about your suspension? Upgraded suspension as well?
No, it's just lowered springs and running on Bilstein D8s.
How does it feel on track now with the manual gearbox, your modification of the engine, the brakes?
Oh, definitely much fun.
Much more fun.
Okay, Kenneth, I have a question.
Yes.
Why the E36? Why not, for example, the Alfa? Is it the rear-wheel drive thing or front-wheel drive thing? Or I know Steve-O might be a bit defensive on this one.
I guess I think every man has like a teenage car dream. So back when I was, I think 14, 15, dream car was back then was the M3
I see.
Affordability and maintenance-wise, 328 is
Better.
closest.
Right, we have a BMW E36 and an Alfa 156. These two cars are not your normal garden variety cars. And these are the very handsome owners.
My name is Steven. I drive the Alfa Romeo 156, 2 liters, select speed.
Okay, that's all he has to say.
Yeah, I absolutely love the car.
Good.
There's nothing else you can buy for 50,000 that's so much fun. More fun than the BMW. That's another story. Talk later.
And Kenneth, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Kenneth. I own the E36 328 and I've been driving it for the past 6-7 years. And I've been loving it ever since. Good. No complaints, man.
So you both love your cars. Faisal, I think, has a couple of questions he wants to ask them on ownership.
Yeah, I mean, you've had your car for 6 years?
Yeah.
And you had your car for how long?
4 years.
4 years. No, we always hear horror stories about continental cars, how about they always break down, they always got this problem, that problem, leaking, overheating, blah blah blah. But what's your take on that? Is it all a myth or is it just a matter of knowing how to maintain your own cars?
I think maintenance is very important actually because most of the time, most owners scheme on maintenance because the car is cheap at the second-hand value. So people tend not to spend so much on maintenance and that usually causes the problems with their cars.
Right.
So most of the time, if you properly maintain it, most of your issues will rarely happen nowadays with the modern Italian cars, for example.
So prevention is better than cure? Or you wait for it to go wrong, then you fix it?
No, some things prevention is better than cure.
Okay.
Probably. Okay, my question is, honestly, because some people who watch this are obviously in the market to buy this sort of car, they got like, 50,000 ringgit. It's either that second-hand Vios or 156 on E36. What would you say?
I'll definitely buy a 156. There's no other cars you can buy for 50,000 that brings you so much joy and
Pure enthusiasm. Right?
definitely.
Same goes for the E36.
A Vios, well, keep it for your mom lah. Yep, I daily drive it, I track it, I go for runs with it,
Okay.
Same
bring
here.
the girlfriend out with it.
Yeah.
So
All
It
in
works
So it works for every occasion, in other words?
every occasion.
Awesome.
If you can afford the extra time and money to maintain them, then these cars are worth considering as a budget play car or a track tool that you can drive every day. Character is what differentiates these European cars from your average rice rocket. Ask yourself the question, what kind of person are you?